Tesla didn't really have an official event today, but they did announce a ton of stuff, and I'm very interested in Tesla, even though I know it doesn't interest as many people as plastic phones that cost $2,000 plus, but it's making the future, and I think one of the most exciting developments in the tech world, automotives, more affordable to more people. So here's what Tesla announced today. Tesla today launched their first foldable smartphone. No, thank God, those news reports have stopped. But the long-awaited $35,000 before incentives Model 3 was launched today. Back when Tesla originally launched the Model 3, they had promised that one day they could get the price down to $35,000 in just a few short years, and they now have finally in 2019 delivered, which means that now the cheapest Tesla got even cheaper, because before, their starting price before incentives were included were closer to about $42,000, and today it's now been officially lowered to $35,000. That's of course before incentives takes place. Once you start factoring in incentives you get when buying a Tesla and all of the savings you'll have without having to pay for gas anymore, in the long run it could end up costing you even less than $30,000, but regardless, upfront it's still going to cost $35K, and that's of course before tax and insurance. But this did come at a cost though. It does mean the car has a much lower range than before. The range now is at 220 miles, which compared to a lot of our gas cars is not very much. But here's the thing you got to remember with electric. When you're charging this bad boy at home, you're leaving the house in the morning because of course when you get home you plug it in, it's charging. You wake up to get in the car to start going to work, it's already at 100%, which means that at that point you leave your house, you can go 220 miles from your house before needing a charge. A gas car, while the range is definitely a lot longer for a lot cheaper models, you're not leaving the house at 100%. With a gas car, you leave the gas station at 100%. But when you park at home and you're just driving to work and back, or driving out to eat, or driving out to get groceries, that uses up more and more gas, which means that not necessarily every time you leave the house, you have that full range that your car is capable of. Whereas with the Tesla, since electric is much more versatile and more obtainable for people at home, having that Tesla plug-in at home simply means that range-wise for the people who just drive to work and back, need to do those everyday tasks with their car, 220 miles I think will be perfectly fine for the majority of consumers, and the only downfall you'll notice with that range is things like road trips. So if your job involves driving on the road a lot and you have to be driving great distances, that lower range is probably going to be an issue for you. But for people like me who just kind of drive from home to work and out to eat and groceries, this simply means that the amazing Tesla Model 3 got way more obtainable today. The other good news is that PewDiePie star Elon Musk is not going to be stopping with the $35,000 starting price. He says that within 2 to 3 years we could see the Model 3 get even more affordable than it is today, which I'm personally very excited to hear, because that means he's not giving up now. He wants to keep pursuing this car to make it more affordable and reach more customers out there so that they can enjoy the benefits of electric as well as some of the autonomous features it offers. And speaking of autonomous features, they have updated that a little bit for their entire lineup. So now during checkout there are 2 check marks overall which are more affordable than before. So now Autopilot is an optional add-on when you buy the car that starts at $3,000 or $4,000 if you decide to activate it after you have purchased the car, which can be a good deal for a lot of people because maybe this car's kind of expensive, so you're sort of trying to save money on it right now, but perhaps down the road, no pun intended, once you own the car for a while and you're ready to upgrade to Autopilot, you can buy it later. And then the fully autonomous self-driving mode is an extra $5,000 in checkout, which a lot of the features they promise with it are currently not available, but they're saying they're coming later this year. And if you want to add that perk later this year, it will cost you $7,000, which is quite hefty. But if you think about what the potential is here, they're saying it'll be able to read stoplights, stop signs, and drive itself through bumper-to-bumper traffic through the city, all on its own. As Elon has mentioned, all Tesla Model 3s have the cameras and have the equipment to support full level 5 autonomy and have these cars drive all by themselves from coast to coast if they needed to. They're saying that's coming by the end of this year, which is quite ambitious, and a lot of which they're waiting on the laws to be passed. Since the technology is ready, they're just waiting on different states to pass the legislation so that they can activate this feature. But yeah, I'll kind of believe that when I see it. It's very possible that it might not be ready before the end of the year, but here's hoping. Let's hope that's real. The other kind of sad announcement today is that Tesla will be closing most of their retail stores. I was a little bummed to hear about this and a bit confused, but as Tesla went into more detail, they said that a lot of money is being spent in those retail experiences and they want to move everything to ordering online exclusively, which just means that for all those malls that have kind of Tesla shops where you can go in and try them out and sit in them. They won't be as accessible as before, but that's because Tesla's trying to save money on their company entirely. That way they can focus on getting cars more cheap, which ultimately I think is an excellent reason to close down a huge branch of your company. If it can result in the product for the end user being more affordable, then I'm all for it. It was always fun to go to malls and go to different dealerships and stuff like that, to be around the Tesla, sit in it and see what it's like. But if closing all these stores will make it easier to get Teslas in the garages and parking spaces of more customers out there, then I'm perfectly fine with that. That's a good move. They also announced they're trying to make it easier to return a Tesla, which is not something you often hear from companies. They typically don't care or don't want to put too much time into the return process, but Tesla's profit margins are insanely low, so it makes sense that Tesla, a company that wants to make life as easy as they can for the consumer, would make a decision like this. But now they're saying you can buy a Tesla and return it for up to 7 days after you bought it, or 1,000 miles after driving, and then bring it back and get a 100% refund, which means that, as even mentioned, and I quote, you can buy a Tesla, go out with your friends and drive a weekend road trip, drive it back and get all of your money refunded now, which is pretty crazy if you ask me. Before, the rules were not so chill about this, but now they want more people experimenting with them, they want more people wanting them, and they're okay with the idea of returning one just shortly after you bought it now. So if you wanted to have that kind of extended test drive and you wanted to own a Tesla for more than a couple days, then now you can officially do that, as long as you keep that range under 1,000 miles, which probably shouldn't be that difficult if you're planning on returning it anyway. There were some interior upgrades on the Model S and the Model X as well, and there's still some hope that Tesla will unveil the Model Y this March. So lots of exciting things coming from Tesla's department. I'm definitely interested. I'm not ready to pull the trigger on buying a Tesla yet, both for finance reasons and the car I'm driving right now works pretty fine. But regardless, I'm really pumped to see that we're getting these price reductions and that we're getting Teslas more affordable to more people. And it seems like today Tesla took many steps to prove that they want Teslas to get into the hands of more people and make them as affordable as possible. So with all these new changes, what are your thoughts on purchasing a Tesla if you haven't already? Let me know all that good stuff that you're thinking down in the comments below. This is your Apple Sheep here. I'll see you in the next one.